Yes, of course. My name is Howard Chaykin. I'm an American comic book artist and writer who's been working in the profession for 48 years.
I'm Phil Noto. I draw for Marvel Comics. I just recently finished Daredevil, and I do a bunch of the Star Wars comic covers. Well, it's a standalone image. It's kind of like doing your own movie poster for a comic, and that way it's, fun, and it takes a lot less time than doing a whole issue. I like doing both, but yeah, covers are a lot of fun. About 20 years now. I was just a comic fan and started, drawing stuff for fun, and started working on covers for DC Birds of Prey, and just kind of grew from there. I mean, I like them all. Black Widow I'm very proud of. I run on that, and the Star Wars comics have been fun. No, it's my first time, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Okay.
Enjoy it very much. This is a big convention. Yeah, even American standards, this is very big.
Okay.
Yes.
It's an honor to have you here.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
My name is Koblish, and I do a lot of superhero comics from Marvel. I worked on Deadpool for about 6 years, and really enjoyed it. It was a great fun project. Right now, I just put out a book called The Many Deaths of Scott Koblish.
Stop. I know.
And that's a fun book. It's me dying over and over again for about 96 pages. Very interesting. Deadpool is a lot of fun. Deadpool, the interesting thing about Deadpool is you can't really break the character. There's no way to make it worse. When you can have Deadpool speak directly to the audience, and you can put him through terrible things, and you can make him make jokes, and it all works out fine. There's no way to make it worse. This is the first book of my own, absolutely, yeah. The Many Deaths of Scott Koblish. You can pick it up on Amazon or any bookstores. I think there's a French translation, and I know that there's a Vietnamese translation as well. So, yeah, you can pick it up in any bookstore or online.
A lot of fun to do?
Oh, it was a lot of fun to do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I've been thinking about it. I always have new ideas constantly. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good luck with it.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, of course. My name is Howard Chaykin. I'm an American comic book artist and writer who's been working in the profession for 48 years.
48 years?
Yes, 48 wonderful years spent in comic books. I'm an outlier in the comic book business in the sense that I'm not a superhero guy. I was, but not very good at it. I do mostly crime, historical, some erotic material. And I would say that I'm too weird for the mainstream and too mainstream for the weird. Yeah, I don't really care about men and women running around in masks fighting crime. I think it's bullshit. I think most superhero comic books are boiled down to the model based on Rotorua and Coyote cartoons. It's endless pursuit without closure. And I write and draw stories about people who actually change and have transformation, and where death is a permanent situation. I'm not interested in the adolescent nature of power fantasies. They bore me. I was 4 years old, and I was given a box of comics by my cousins, and I've never wanted to do anything other than that since. I've always wanted to be a comic book man. And even though I had no talent, but I had hunger and blind rage, and that blind rage sustained me until I learned how to do comics, because I had no other interest in any other part of my life. All I cared about was comic books, drugs, and sex. That was the entire extent of my experience. I married a great deal, I did a lot of drugs, and I've been doing comics for 48 years. I don't read comics, because I'm bored by them for the most part, but I do make comics. I derive the same pleasure from making comics that I once did from reading them. My experience with comics is comparable to my experience with crossword puzzles. I'm a crossword puzzle person, and I regard the experience of making comics as the solution of problems by translating literary ideas into images with narrative value. That's where I'm at. So, there you go. The Netherlands is one of the few countries in Europe that I have not visited. This is my first time here. Actually, I'll be in Belgium in 2 weeks. That'll be another one. I was in France 3 weeks ago. But I've been to. I spent a great deal of time in Europe as a tourist, extent of my experience as a comic book man. I'm having a wonderful time. My first love was a Nederlander girl.
Okay.
So as a boy of 16, I learned about nasi goreng and godverdomme. When I was invited to the show, I jumped on the opportunity because I really wanted to visit this country. And I'm delighted to be here. I'm very grateful to be a guest.
It's nice to have you here.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for your time.
And thank you for your attention. I'm most grateful. I take nothing for granted.
I am Daniel Acuña. I am a comic artist working for Marvel 12 years ago, an exclusive. Now I'm working in Black Panther series with Ta-Nehisi Coates. Well, I work almost all the superheroes in Marvel, Avengers, X-Men, because I do all art, ink, pencil, ink and color, and I also make covers for my series and for another series. For example, Fantastic Four or Thor covers. David Macho is the man. He sent me photos of Utrecht. My inspiration is in TV show of Batman, classic, when she climbed the wall with Robin. Maybe it was maybe a good idea. I present to the con 2 ideas. One with climbing, and one with inspired in a Goonies movie, but the heroes choose that with the climbing. So when I make a convention poster, I don't like to put famous characters. Sometimes you can have problems with editorials. So I prefer do my own creation for this poster that remember classic characters as Batgirl remembers, but is a original character. It's more funny for me. So I can here, for example, I mix two characters. The Spirit is a classical character, and Tantan. So this is like a Black Panther to homage myself. Something like this, where like bunny, little pony, some kind of Popeye donut. Convention tell me to put something of the city, so the tower and something of the canals, the water.
Are you enjoying the convention so far?
Yeah. It's very big convention. It's one of the most big I ever seen. Maybe San Diego is similar office. Yeah, it's very big.
Have you been to the Netherlands before?
Maybe when I was teenage in a high school trip in Amsterdam.
So this is the first time you're in.
So it's my first time with a conscience of adult.
Well, it's nice to have you here.
Thank
you
you.
for your time. And enjoy the rest of the convention.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you. It's beautiful convention.
My name's Dave Johnson, and I'm mainly a cover artist, but some of the stuff that I've done in the past is like Superman Red Sun, Super Patriot, I've done covers for books like 100 Bullets, Punisher, you name it, I've probably drawn a cover for it. So. I started out like everybody drawing the interiors, but I just kind of gravitated more towards doing single illustration, you know, and I got into animation work for like 15 years, so the only time I had was at night and on the weekends, so covers kind of lend themselves to just, I get a cover done, I'm done, I move on. So whereas doing interiors, it's a never-ending kind of thing, and when you're working two separate jobs, it's very hard to do that. So yeah, I mean, for the most part, if you're lucky, the art is already done and the writing's already done. But like, case in point, on a book like 100 Bullets, around issue 50, we had gotten, like when I first started 100 Bullets, we had not only full script, but we had full art that had, you know, fully inked everything. And then as the series progressed, the art got less and less and less. And then even there wasn't even a script at the point of around issue 50. Like, the writer, Brian Azzarello, hadn't even started writing it yet, because we have to do covers, I don't know, like 5-6 months in advance for catalog. So, you know, I used to have to call up Brian and say, what are you thinking about writing? And then I would have to pull something out of the air and try to come up with a good cover for that. So in a perfect world, I'll have artwork, but a lot of times I just have to either talk to the writer or the editor and try to pull some ideas, you know, from their heads. So
it can be challenging then.
It can be.
Yeah.
But some of my favorite covers have come from, you know, like they have nothing to do with the interior, so, you know, it's kind of funny. I think like everybody, I grew up as a kid, I used to read comics, and I never thought that was a real career. Like, it almost, like, say, well, I'm just going to be a football player or something, you know. It didn't seem like it would be attainable. So when I went to art school, I was going for illustration, because that, you know, I don't know, it just, comics didn't seem like a viable job to even pursue. But I met some guys that were already working in the industry, and one thing led to another, and I ended up getting work at DC. So it all worked out.
How long have you been doing it so far?
Going on 30 years. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so far so good, you know.
What do you think of the convention here?
It's way bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah?
I mean, just space-wise, it's pretty damn big. And there seems to be, I don't know how many people are here, but it seems like there's a lot of people here.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, most conventions are all kind of the same. I mean, they're either big or small, but I mean, for me as a guest, this is my convention right here.
Yeah.
So,
you don't have the time to walk around and see some of the things?
Not really, but even if I do, it's, you know, it's the same stuff. You know, you got your comics, you got your media, you got your TV and movie stars, you got your toys, you got your plushies. I mean, yeah, I could walk around and I might see something I've never seen before, but usually it's the same stuff, you know? I mean, I've done hundreds of these, so, I mean, they're all fun, but, you know, this is me sitting here. That's 90% of the con experience for me. So for me, it's about going to a new city that I've never been to, especially over here in Europe, and I use that as a springboard to go somewhere else. Like, before I got here, I flew in early and then went to Switzerland. So because I've been here before, but I've never been to Switzerland, so that's where it gets exciting for me. You know, and meeting the fans, I mean, it's all great, but it's cool, you know, it's fun.
Nice to have you here.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
Thank you for your time.